Let's make Chinese takeout ribs. I'm not 100% sure how they make the barbecue sauce, but this is how I make the ribs. And it's fall off the bone, delicious. We're gonna start off with 4 garlic cloves and just give them a rough chop. We're also going to mince 2 shallots. Just give those a rough chop as well. And if you have fresh ginger, roughly chop up about 1 inch of a ginger. I don't have ginger, so I'm going to use ground ginger in a jar. In our skillet, we're going to add some oil. I'm using avocado oil. We're going to sear the ribs. I'm using about 6 of the ribs. So I'm using half of the ribs, about 2 pounds. Now that the top is seared, I'm also going to sear both sides. Remove the ribs and add 1 star anise, cinnamon stick, but I think that's too much. So I'm just going to use half of 1. I don't want it too cinnamony. Let it get fragrant. I'm actually going to pick out the little pieces of cinnamon. Now we're going to add in the shallots and the garlic. And let that get fragrant. Okay, you'll need a cup of Chinese cooking wine. However, I don't have that, so I'm going to use white cooking wine. At about 3/4 of a cup. Add in 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, a tablespoon of hoisin sauce, a tablespoon of oyster sauce, low sodium soy sauce. I guess I forgot to mention in my last video that I buy low sodium soy sauce in bulk and I put it in this container. And you'll need 2 tablespoons. You will also need 2 tablespoons of dark soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of rice vinegar, a teaspoon of ginger, or half a teaspoon of ginger. Sometimes ginger can taste really strong in a dish. I'm going to remove the cinnamon and the star anise. Add the ribs back to the pan. You can keep the star anise and the cinnamon in there, but sometimes it's a bit too strong for some people, for my family. And then I'll add in 1.5 cups of water. Once you add the water, place the lid on, cook for 1.5 hours to 2 hours. But I don't want to do that. I'm going to put it in my pressure cooker and cook it for 30 minutes. And I just rearranged the ribs until they fit onto the bottom. Let this sit for 30 minutes and we'll come back and check on it. All right, the ribs are done out of the pressure cooker. I removed it from the pressure cooker, or when it's done on the pan, I know I can sear it in the pressure cooker. However, not everybody has a pressure cooker, so I'm going to show you in the pan. Let this simmer on high until the sauce gets sticky. Okay, this does take some time to cook down the sauce for it to get sticky. Be patient and just move it around to coat each rib. And if you don't want it as tender as mine, obviously you don't have to cook it as long. Now, let's make it pretty. Place each rib in your serving dish, top with some green onions, and sprinkle some sesame seeds. And that's how I make the Chinese takeout ribs.